Jenny, author, speaker, grief coach, and if you've ever felt lost, broken, or abandoned, even by hope, I want you to know that you're in the right place. Here, I really try to help us all turn that pain into purpose in our life and to allow grief to bring growth in our life and to even tackle those questions of doubt that you may have and help you see how they can actually deepen your faith. So in each video, I'll be sharing insights, encouragement, and spiritual tools, practical things to help you heal, to rebuild, and to discover that God still has a plan for you. So let's take this journey together, friend.
Welcome to God Prince, where stories of grief, faith, and healing come to life. Jenny Levitt is an author, mental health coach, and founder of Resilient Hope. If you or someone you love is navigating loss, survivor's guilt, or deep sorrow, join us. We're here to walk with you, cry with you, and remind you, you are not alone, and hope is still within reach. These are our stories. These are his God Prints. Let's begin.
Crystal, you and Jacob you knew each other through the teen ministry, but he was about 3 years older than you.
Right.
So then they went on the church trip.
They went on the teen trip, and they came back. They came to follow up on me, and they knocked on my door, and were trying to get me to come out to church. And at first I was just giving excuses, and then finally, one of my friends, that is my friend now, she came to my door and knocked on it, and I said, for lack of better terms, cussed her out and told her, leave me alone, I don't want to come, just stop coming to my house. So, I fell back into sin, hanging out with the wrong crowd, smoking, and just making bad decisions like I was before. And then that was the summer that I was getting ready to go into high school. So my freshman year started, and I obviously started off on the wrong foot.
And that would have been August of 2015.
August of 2015. And then at the end of August 2015, I think it was beginning of September at that point, I was sitting in my living room. I asked my mom to check my homework, which was really not like me, but I asked her to check my homework. And while I was sitting on the couch, the news was on, and a news story about a teenager who passed away in a car accident came on. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. And then they said his name was Jacob Levitt. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mom, I knew him. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I went to church with him. And I was like, I need to go back and tell them that I'm so sorry. And that was the point for me. In that moment, I was like, wow, he was so young. And I, at the time, was only 14 and he was 17. And I'm like, wow, life is so short. I could die any day. That I knew in that moment that if I died, I wasn't going to make it to my home. And I think that really shook me. So I told my mom I'm going back to church. And she said, no, you're not. And I was like, no, I am. And I am a pretty stubborn person.
No.
And usually, if I want something, I can be a go-getter. So I texted my friends. I was like, I want to come back to church. I just heard about Jacob. Please tell them I'm so sorry. Let me know when you could pick me up. And that was really all it took. And they picked me up for the next service. And it just happened to be, it was early September. So it was actually September 9th. And his memorial service was that Saturday. It was the Wednesday night before his memorial service. I rededicated my life to God that night. And it felt different. It wasn't like I was coming just to have a good life. It was I understood the depth and the weight of my sin. And I felt a change in my life. So, and then even right away, they took me in, the teen leaders at the time were Trevor and Rebecca. They took me in. I spent the night at their house the night before, that Friday night for the Saturday that was the memorial, and I never looked back. I started coming to church, and I just kept coming, kept living on my salvation, which at the time I was only 14, so I went through all of my years in the teen ministry up until I graduated and got a job, got a car, just kind of was living my life, growing up, becoming an adult. Then that is when my mom got sick.
So in the interim, while you were growing up in the teens, our family was recovering everything that we'd been through. So 2018, my husband and I moved down to Sanford, Florida, about 2 hours south by car for ministry to Pioneer Church down there. And our son that survived the wreck, Caleb, prayed about it. And at this point, he would have been 23. And he decided to stay in Jacksonville and continue serving God in the church here where he was pretty much raised. And so we moved down there, and that's a whole nother thing that, we could talk about another time. But while we moved down there and we were plugging away down there, trying to reach that area with the gospel, you stayed here, and that was when you were becoming an adult and getting out on your own. I know after you graduated high school, you started working in the preschool, and you would come down with groups down to Sanford and help us down there. We call them guerrilla teams, outreach teams, impact teams, whatever you want to call them, but you'd come down. And then we were up here enough that we got to know you some.
Also the drama ministry, Caleb and I were in the drama ministry together, so when they would have concerts at their church, we would be doing skits and stuff like that.
Some of you may not know that I had stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. I've had lots and lots and lots of issues. Scares over the years, issues, long-term issues from the chemo and the radiation. Hi friends. My heart behind every video that we make here is to help you turn your pain into some kind of purpose and your loss into hope. You won't just watch. My prayer and my hope is that you will leave with insights that you can actually take action on and that will help transform not just your heart, but your life and your view on life. For more encouragement, tools, and connection with a supportive faith community, visit campsite.bio/Jenny Levitt. If you want to see how God can leave his fingerprints in the hardest season of your life, my book, God Prints, Finding Evidence of God in the Shattered Pieces of Life, is full of stories, insights, and guidance to help you embrace hope again. It's available at jennylevitt.com/godprints. It's also available anywhere that you can buy books. And also, if you go to my resource page of jennylevitt.com, I have a free study guide to accompany the God Print book. So as you read our story, you can have the study guide right next to you, and hopefully my prayer is that God uses it to help you find your own God print moments in your life. Because your story is not over, friend. God is still writing it. And with every step, you can experience healing, growth, and a deeper, lasting, abiding joy than you ever imagined or ever realized was even possible.